Hey guys, so it is about, as I check the time here, as I'm starting, about 3:11 p.m. on this Wednesday afternoon, November 12th, 2025. It is 71 degrees outside under now mostly cloudy skies because it's going to probably rain later tonight into tomorrow. But with that said, I wanted to come on here, first of all, before I start, ask you to do me a solid favor, and that's like the video, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. Also, guys, if you can, it'd be greatly appreciated. You can go to the links in the description to find my content elsewhere outside of YouTube. You can find me at all your favorite podcast outlets like iTunes, iHeart, Pandora, Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and then even to an extent SiriusXM. Also, you can find me at other video outlets like Rumble and VENMO and Dailymotion and Odyssey. Also, if you're into art and everything, you'll find me at DeviantArt at BVW1979 and at inkbunny.net at BWRoses. Also, guys, I have a Patreon. I have plans for that, and I will let you know what those are very soon in the near future. But I do have a Patreon. If you want to go and support me there, it'd be greatly appreciated. And I do have a Cash App and a Venmo. If you want to help donate through that. And also, ladies and gentlemen, I also have a online store, actually two, a fourth wall store, link is at the top, and a Teespring store. Go to both of them for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. Also, ladies and gentlemen, during the premiere of this video, you can chime in the live chat, your thoughts on the topic, as well as even donate super chats if you would like. And also during the video premiere and afterwards, comments will be open. And if you don't get here in time for the video premiere and you're listening to this afterwards, you can donate if you would like through the super thanks option, which is the little heart with the dollar sign. Now, with that said, let's get into discussions. And this, if you're a Sonic fan, is a big one. Basically, we know that Sonic Racing Crossworlds, Sonic Crossworlds, if you will, the racing game, it is basically, pretty much what it says it is. It is an all-star Crossworlds event, or at least game, if you will. And it is allowing all of us to basically not only race as our favorite Sonic characters that are in the game, but also with some guest characters from other titles, other franchises that might have games distributed by Sega. And what I mean by that is basically if an IP from, let's say, Nickelodeon or Warner Brothers, or Disney or something like that has a game that they want to have made and they go to Sega for it to be made, then Sega will take it on board. They will. And essentially what that means, is I get my pad here to bring it up, essentially what that means is basically any Sega character can be part of this. And it doesn't even have to be Sega. It could be a collab with Sega through outlets like Namco or whoever. But with that said, I think I may have put it on the other one. Maybe. I don't know. Let me double check here, guys. Let me double check. I may have done it on the other one. Let me go get my phone instead because I think it's on there. Maybe it's on the phone. Let me check, if you will. Probably more than likely on the phone. But yeah, you see the title down below, and obviously that title pretty much, I think, says it all, if you will. It pretty much says it all. Sonic Crossworlds has added on some three new, I guess you could say, how do I put this? They've added on three new characters, if you will. Some that people already pretty much knew about, and some people didn't know about, if you will. But yeah, three new characters have been introduced, into the game, into the game world, if you will. They've been introduced into the game world, and I'm gonna bring those up right now as I download a few things here and there. I should have done this before I started. But yeah, basically, it was announced, and coming up right now, it was announced that in January, even though it was pretty much leaked already, in January, we are getting Nights as a playable character. We are getting Nights. And then, and that's from Nights into Dreams, the Sega Dreamcast game. Then, ladies and gentlemen, we are also getting, in February, I guess this is his name, AiAi, AiAi, that's AiAi, AiAi, I guess that's his name. We're getting him in February. That's from the Monkey Ball game, I guess. Super Monkey Ball, I think. But then the big news that really surprised a lot of folks was what's coming in February. And what's coming in February is something historic. Because pretty much when people saw this, they're like, could this mean other characters from this portion of Sonic is possible? Well, we'll have to wait and see, because it was revealed that along with Nights in January, AiAi in January, yeah, with Nights in December. Let me correct myself. Nights in December, AiAi in January. That in February, joining them in February, will be from the IDW comics, Tangle and Whisper. That's right, Tangle and Whisper are actually making a console debut in Sonic Crossworlds. That is happening. That is happening, and that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that that's happening. Now, of course, a lot of people were excited. I was excited, because I'm thinking, cool, we're finally getting some characters. And what this does, of course, in the eyes of a lot of folks, is it opens the door. It opens the door for possibly some new characters to show up. So yeah, it's Tangle, and I'm trying to make sure I get this all. It's Tangle and Whisper in February, Nights in December, and AiAi in January. And I'm trying to make sure, yeah, I want to make sure, you'll see it on the screen, but Nights next month, the beginning of the year, it's AiAi, and in February, it's Tangle and Whisper. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to see, and obviously, again, like I said, this brings up the question that a lot of fans are wondering, is if they can get in there from the comic book side of things of Sonic, then who else from the comic book side of things of Sonic can get in? Can we get other IDW Sonic characters? Can we get some Archie characters, if you will? That's going to be the big question. Because a lot of people are already, through the PC ports of the Sonic Crossworlds game, a lot of people are already modding certain characters, to be, different characters. That's what they're doing. Some people are modding Rouge and Wave to be Sally or Bunny. Some are modding this character to be that character, and that character to be this character, all because they want them in the game. I mean, some people even modded Wave and Rouge, and maybe even Blaze. Those are the three that mostly got modded into Tangle and Whisper. Well, mostly Whisper. Now you have to wonder what those people that modded Blaze or modded Rouge or Wave into Whisper, you have to wonder what they're thinking, going like, oh crap, we are going to get Whisper. You got to think what's going through their minds. Because now you don't have to worry about modding any other character to be her. She's going to be in the game. She's going to be in the game. So now it makes you wonder who's going to be next from the comic realm if that's the case. Because it seems like what's going on here is we're going to have one, maybe two characters a month debut as a DLC. So we know that Nights is next month, AiAi is in January, and Tangle and Whisper, the big one for comic book fans of Sonic, is in February. But then who comes in March, April, and May? That's going to be the question, and that's good speculation. Now, we have to look at other outlets. Because we know SpongeBob and Minecraft are in the game. We know that. We know other IPs, other IPs that are involved in games created by Sega or in association with Sega. We know they're involved in the games. We know some stars on the outside, singers like this Misaku or whatever her name is. Yeah, she had a pony, a Bushido statue made for her. I can't pronounce her name. She's got a character in there. And so you have to wonder who else is going to join. Well, honestly, if we were to look at it, let's say from an IP perspective, we have heard rumors, and this is just rumors, that one of the DLCs, unless it's already there, and let me double check on that, unless it's already there, one of the potential DLCs, if it's already there, let me double check, but one of the potential DLCs could be, and I'm double checking right now, it's not here, but one of the potential DLCs could be TMNT. That has been a rumor. That's been a rumor that they potentially could be in the game as well. So if that happens, that will make things interesting because you already have SpongeBob in there. You already have SpongeBob and all that. In fact, let me double check, make sure what characters are in the game. Hold on for a sec. Hold on for a sec, guys. Hold on for one moment. Okay, so I brought up a list here. I don't know if it's accurate, but we know the main game characters are Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Cream and Cheese, Big, Silver, Shadow, Rouge, Omega, Vector, Espio, Charmy, Dr. Eggman, Metal Sonic, Sage, Eggpon, Zolvik, Zaz, Jet the Hawk, Wave, Storm the Albatross, and Supersonic, who is unlockable. And then they have a list here of who's available, through DLC. We have Hatsumiki. Again, I apologize for pronouncing that wrong. We have Ichiban Aizug. We have Alex. We have Creeper. We have Dread. We have Nights. And Alex and Creeper and Dread is, from Minecraft. We have Nights. We have Nine. We have SpongeBob. We have Steve. And we have Tangle and now in Whisper. And the Werehog of Sonic is a pre-order bonus. So that's what they have right now. So again, you have to wonder, who's next. And like I said, the rumor mill is that one of the potential DLCs is TMNT. If that happens, people will basically people will be talking about that without a shadow of a doubt, no pun intended. But they will be talking about that a lot because you can only imagine that either you'll have to interchange between all four turtles, or all four turtles will be their own individual drivers. One could think, just based on the fact that they're both coming in February, that you have to interchange between either choosing Tangle or Whisper to go with, or they're going to be their own individual drivers. I'm sure people are hoping for the latter. And I'm sure people are hoping for the latter. But TMNT is one of the names that's been thrown around, from what I understand. Who else could be thrown around? Name-wise, I don't know. But I've got a feeling. Pac-Man, and I think his name's been thrown around too, along with TMNT. That Pac-Man as well could be, showing up, very soon in the racing game. So Pac-Man, TMNT, and Mega Man. Mega Man has yet to show up, but there is rumors that he could be showing up too. I think news was about that, he will be going over to Crossworlds eventually. So you're looking at potentially your next three for March, April, and May, that being Mega Man, TMNT, and Pac-Man. Those could be your next three. Not saying they are, but they could be. But then you have to look at the fact that, okay, we can understand those characters. What about comics? What other comic characters could they bring in? And to me, I think the most logical out of the IDW book, because people love these characters, has to be Surge and Kit. Surge and Kit out of IDW would have to be next on the comic book list of characters to make the jump to Crossworlds. I mean, Surge is already in what? The Sonic Forces Speed Battle? She's already in there. So why not bring her on board along with Kit into Crossworlds? So a lot of fans are hoping for that. But I also know that the way fans have been modifying things, and you can't tell me that everybody at Sega doesn't notice this or hear about this or see it or even watch the videos themselves, because I'm sure they do. You know, obviously fans would love to see, some of the Archie Saté-M characters make an appearance. If you're bringing Nights into the equation after being gone for so long, then why not bring in characters that fans love in other forms of Sonic franchises? And the Archie Comics, Saté-M run is what fans want to see. Fans want to see, those characters. So can you imagine that come the summer, because you got June, July, and August, can you imagine the summer that they announce some other IPs, we don't know who those might be, but along with one of those, months that they choose, that they announce that not only would be getting Surge and Kit from IDW, but maybe we get a double dose. Maybe we get Archie as well, and then the following month, after let's say Surge and Kit debut, we could hear, a familiar theme, a jingle that we know of from Saturday mornings, and then all of a sudden, here comes, here comes all of a sudden the appearance of, the images of Sally and maybe Nicole, or Sally and maybe Bunny, for all we know. That could be something there too. That could be something there too. We have to see. Now they could also dig in and get some other Sonic characters that have, that have yet to be playable. Like they could go in and say, okay, let's bring in Vanilla. They could bring Vanilla into the equation, which would be interesting. They could bring Vanilla in, make her a driver. That would be, interesting to say the least. Who else could they bring in? They could bring in, let's say, Takal. I don't think Takal's in the game, so they can bring her in. That would be interesting. Takal, that'd be interesting. So they got a whole almost unlimited supply of characters, in the Sonic franchise and beyond that they can work with. And like I said, the three rumored non-Sonic franchises that are being, looked into, for potential DLCs, which I believe could be basically the next three, are TMNT, Pac-Man, and Mega Man. Those would be the next three that I think are going to be announced. And then I think afterwards we might get some more, comic book news from IDW and maybe potentially Archie Comics. Because a lot of people feel like, hey, if Tangle and Whisper can get in there, could Surge and Kit be next? Could Lanolin the Sheep? Could, Jewel the Beetle, could they be next? I think those two people would like to see as well. And then of course you have all these, little cameo appearances, sneaky cameo appearances of beloved characters like Sally and references to Bunny and Antoine. So again, you have to wonder if maybe that's saying, something to us that they are coming, but they're going to come in ways we wouldn't expect. Could they be announced for a future DLC next year? That would be something to look forward to, be honest with you. That would be something to look forward to, but that's going to be totally up to the people behind Sonic Crossworlds and who they, bring into the table next. But I feel, if I'm going to be honest with you, I feel come March, April, and May, we're not looking at any comic book characters. We're probably looking at maybe, I would say at least, one DLC a month, which sounds good. But I also feel maybe we'll get double that amount, at least for one of them, like we did for February with Tangle and Whisper. So I think come basically, March, we're gonna get, we're gonna get either TMNT or Pac-Man. I think that'll be the first one. Then I think come April we'll get either TMNT or Mega Man. That'll be the next one. And then I think for May, we're going to get a double dose. We're going to get either, we're going to get either one of those three, I feel. But like I said, I got a feeling Pac-Man or TMNT is going to start off. I'm probably going to go with Pac-Man since it's, basically a little after, not that far after his 45th anniversary. So I think Pac-Man, then I think TMNT might be next, and then I think to round it out would be Mega Man, but I don't think Mega Man's going to be alone in March. I think in March we're going to have Mega Man, and we're going to have Vanilla. That's what I got a feeling. We're going to get Mega Man and Vanilla, as a 2-pack DLC in May. And then come the summer, that's when you'll get Surge and Kit. I got a feeling we're going to get I got a feeling come the summer, that we're going to get like a multi-pack of DLCs for June. I think we're going to get an IDW pack. I really do. I think we're going to get Lanolin, we're going to get Jewel, and we're going to get Surge and Kit in a 4-pack. We're going to get 4 characters in June. Because it's the summer. You want to give kids and fans, young fans at heart, and long-time fans, you want to give them plenty to play with, right? Plenty to work with, right? Throughout the summer. So why not go that route? Why not take it to that extreme, if you will? So I've got a feeling come June, we're either just going to get a 2-pack, which will either be Surge and Kit, or Lanolin and Jewel, or it could be all 4. So, and I got a feeling, they might be giving us all 4. Again, could be wrong. But, I feel like the summer is going to be very, as far as DLC goes, very comic book oriented, very comic book focused. So I think either 4-pack or 2-pack in June, and then July 4-pack or 2-pack there, and the same with August. But I got a feeling before that summer's out, we're going to have to get something from Archie. I really do. From Archie Comics, Nights and AiAi. I got a feeling we got to get something. And I got a feeling, it's going to come very soon. Because again, why hint? Again, why hint at all these characters with these little cameos in the comics, as well as in some references in the games? Why do this if you're not going to bring them in? If you're not going to at least use them in some capacity, like they plan to do with this Sonic Blitz game, if you will. But I think, it's something to consider, something to really, wonder and speculate about. But again, I believe that the next 3 won't be comic book related or Sonic, tied in. They're going to be from different IPs. Like I said, I think come March, April, and May, you're looking at Pac-Man, you're looking at TMNT, and you're looking at Mega Man, maybe with the addition of Vanilla being the only Sonic character. So I think Vanilla and Mega Man will be May, TMNT will be April, and Pac-Man will be in March. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, just my speculated opinion, but I could be wrong. And then I feel, in my own speculated opinion, come summer, that'll be very comic book focused as far as DLC goes. And which tells me, come June, we're either going to get an IDW 4-pack, which is Surge, Kit, Lanolin, and Jewel, or we're just going to get Surge and Kit, and then maybe in July we'll get Lanolin and Jewel, and then come August I think we might get something that's Archie comic related, and that might be a certain princess and her AI best friend, if not more than that, if you look at the reboot comic, or the reboot version of the comic, or it might be, a certain princess and her cybernetic, bunny friend, if you know what I mean. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. But yeah, Tangle and Whisper being part of this does open that door now. And it only makes people wonder and speculate who could be next. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. If you haven't already in the live chat, let me know who you think will be next. As far as comic books go, as far as like comic book related DLC goes, let me know who you think will be next. Do you agree with who I think will be next that's going to be non-Sonic related? Outside of Sonic, do you agree with me on those 3 for March, April, and May? And maybe even with the inclusion of Vanilla as a only Sonic character outside, that's part of it, along with Mega Man in May. Let me know if you agree with that. And let me know if you believe the summer might be comic book centric when it comes to DLC. And do you think we'll either just get 2 and 2 and 2, each month? Excuse me. Or do you think we'll get a 4-pack in one of those months, and then maybe another 2-pack, the other 2 months, and then something we wouldn't expect in let's say August or something. Let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are, guys. So until next time, though, comment down below, like the video, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel, and share the video, and click on the links in the description to find my content elsewhere outside of YouTube and to support me outside of YouTube as well. But guys, give me your thoughts. Love to hear from each and every one of you on this. And until next time, I am out. Take care. God bless.